Good afternoon again. So my name's Nick. Welcome to my kitchen here in Trisbin, just outside of Truro in Cornwall. As you know, we're the owners of the Heron Inn over in Malpas. We're currently closed. So to stop us from going absolutely mad, because the chefs like to do things all the time, I'm doing these tutorials for you. It's a bit of fun. I hope you're enjoying them. If you've got any questions, fire them through. We've got a phone in front of us, so we'll try and answer questions if I can. I see Mr. Marsh is tuned in. So how you doing, Steve? I hope you're well. So a couple of people came back from the last risotto saying, well, why don't you do some shellfish? That's kind of how you've made your reputation. We sell lots of shellfish as well over in the restaurant. So I thought, well, why not? So I phoned my fishmonger, Matthew Stevens, and said, look, can we get some mussels? I know we're closed and supply is a bit limited down here. And he was like, yeah, absolutely no problem. So we're going to do a classic Mussels mariniere. It's on the menu. We sell about 50 kilos of mussels a day at this time of the year going into summer. So, I mean, it's really super popular. I'm just going to show you how easy it is. Now, I know some of you have also managed to get some mussels. So a couple of my neighbours, Jason and Emma, have got them as well. And my manager at the pub, Simon, and my friend Becky as well has also managed to get them. If you haven't got them, it's not a problem. This tutorial will stay on my page. Just go back to it when you do get them and just see how easy this is. I'm going to show you a quick way if you're cooking at home for your family, and I'll also explain how we do it at work. So, for us to cook 50 kilos of mussels in a day at work and do them to order, we have to do it slightly different, so we kind of make a base, but I'll explain it as we're going along. So mussels, absolutely fantastic. So these ones are from Foy, and they're actually grade A mussels from, well, they're called West Country Mussels as a company, and the farmer, I believe, is Gary Rule. Absolutely fantastic. Look at the size of that. For a mussel, this is what it's all about. It's nearly the size of my hand, and they're all pretty much like that as well. So these are already cleaned, so they come to us cleaned as well. But if you're buying them from the shops, and they may have a beard or a little bit of weed or growth just sticking out the side, just be sure to pull that out and give them a good wash. Because you don't want that, it'll be chewy and a little bit sandy as well. It's just where they're held onto the ropes. So the difference with these ones and instead of river grown mussels is these are grown in the ocean and they're grown on ropes, and basically you've got like lots of buoys with a piece of rope across and then ropes dangling down, and to actually get the seedlings to attach onto the rope takes about 2 years to get to this stage. So it's a 2-year process. And then when they're ready to be harvested, they're straight out and, they're into the restaurant pretty much within 24 hours. But they are all ready to go, absolutely juicy, fantastic. We use them for starters in the restaurant. We also use them in our paellas and our going fish curries. We sell a lot of mussels. So here we are. So they're all ready for me, ready to go. But what I'm going to do is just check through them and make sure they're still live. You can't cook a dead mussel. It's an easy way to get food poisoning. So what I'm looking for is any ones that might be slightly open a little bit. And the easiest way to test if it's still alive is just give it a little tap, and if it closes up, which it does, it's alive. If they're not, and they don't close and they don't move, discard of them, okay? You don't want those. The other thing I'm looking for, and there's one there, is a broken mussel. Nobody wants to eat a broken mussel, even if it's live. The presentation of that at the end dish is not going to be good. So that one is in the bin. So that's what you need. You can buy mussels in supermarkets now. So they're quite easy to get hold of. Don't be scared to do them. I'm going to show you how easy it is. So what you're going to need, you are going to need a lemon. You're going to need a couple of cloves of garlic. You're going to need some banana shallots. You're going to need some nice unsalted butter. Your mussels, now on the recipe that I put online, I said 400 grams of mussels. I'm using 800 grams, so I'm doubling up on my prep, only for the fact that my kids like mussels and Amanda will probably want to try them in a little while as well. Some nice fresh flat leaf parsley. I've got some double cream, and I've got most important thing, ladies, you know the score. So we always start off with a bottle of wine. So cooking has to be fun. I've got no beer, so I can't have a beer today to show the boys. So I'm going to show you wine. So what we're doing is I'm just sharing wine that we actually sell at the pub. And our wine list has been put together. We work very close with Louisa Fitzpatrick over at St Austell Brewery and St Austell Wines, or Walter Hicks Wines. And she's brilliant. She completely understands our business. So when we put a menu together, we'll sit and then we'll match the wines to each of our dishes. So and this is one of them. It's called a Viognier. It's a French wine. Absolutely superb. Again, with fish, with cheese as well. Really good popular wine with cheese. Nice and chilled. So the first thing we do, we have a glass of wine. And in we go. But I'm also going to cook with this as well. So if you're doing a Mussels marinière, use decent wine. Don't be scared, you know, to use a good wine, because what you don't use in the dish, you can drink with the dish. So, and it makes a huge difference to have the right ingredients and the right quality of product. So my recommendation for this one is a really good Viognier. And again, we sell this in the restaurant. So before we go any further, cheers, stay safe and stay at home. And it is very good, very good. So the other ingredients I've got is a little bit of olive oil, and that's all you need really. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly prep some of the bits as we're going along. Now, first thing I'm going to do is my lemon. So this is what we do. We sell lots of these, or it's a garnish that we use in the pub. So, and all I'm doing is taking the ends off, okay, and just cutting the lemon at an angle. And I'm doing that first because I'm going to torch this, and actually when I've torched it, it's easier when it's at room temperature than if it was to come out of the fridge, because it would just take ages. So I'm just going to leave those on there. That's all I need from there. So shallots, banana shallots. Try not to use onions. Shallots are much better in this recipe. They're a little bit sweeter as well. A lot of recipes will tell you to finely dice it or roughly chop it. I'm going to show you how I prefer it done, because it works for me, and I kind of revert back to what I was taught years ago when I started this game back in 1989, I think it was, 88, 89, when I started my career as an apprentice with De Beer Hotels. So a long time ago, but I still go back to how I was taught, and I think that's really important, especially with, you know, when we're taking apprentices on working with Truro College, because again, learning the classic French basics is the fundamental art of cooking. So it's really important. So I'm just peeling these shallots, really easy, just get rid of that skin. If you use little shallots, like the little silver skin things, you'll be here for hours. So whenever I order these from my supplier, I always ask for the largest shallots that you can find. So if not, you're just wasting time peeling and chopping, and probably crying at the same time. Right, with these ones, so lengthways, not this way, so lengthways, all I'm going to do is just roughly slice them up. Not quite julienne, but just slice them up. And the reason that I like to do this is because when I'm steaming the mussels, I like the onion to coat the mussels, so it almost gives it a bit of texture. It just looks a lot nicer. If you use diced onion, it just gets lost in the sauce. So again, just nicely sliced. I'm using 3 good sized shallots here. Okay, doesn't matter if you can chop quick or slow. And that's it. So that's stage 1, chop your shallots. Stage 2, garlic. Okay, a couple of cloves of garlic. These are quite big, so I'm only going to use 2. And again, I'm not going to crush these and turn them into a paste like we would if we was to make a sauce. I'm literally, back of the knife, crush them down, and I'm going to roughly chop them. So, don't need to be really fine. Again, I always find the slightly more chunky the garlic is, you know, you get a bit more flavour out of it as well. If I was to make this into a paste, I'd just put a little bit of salt on there, and then use the back of the knife and just gently rub it back and forwards, but I'm not going to, you don't need to do that. And again, you're cooking at home, you're not in a restaurant. So if you're following on, keep going. Someone's just said, I don't have a torch. That's fine, you don't need a torch, Becky. at all. I'm just showing you a trick of what we do actually in the restaurant. So what's the difference between Mussels Marinière and Mussels Normandy? No idea, Steve. Next question. So, right, I'm all chopped up there, ready to go. Next thing we need to be doing, okay, turn my trusty induction on. I'm using the induction because it's easier when you're doing these things than me having my back to you. So, nice induction on, hot pan, that's important. So in goes unsalted butter. I'm using Cornish butter, so I'm using Trewithen dairy butter, which is just outside of Lostwithiel. So unsalted butter because if you salt it, it's going to burn, it's going to foam. We don't want that. So bit of butter in there just to help that along the way, and again to stop that burning, a little bit of olive oil. So just melt that around. So if you're following along, so oil, unsalted butter, I'm just going to sweat shallots off for a minute. Okay? That's all we're doing. Turn it up a little bit more. If you're finding that it's going to look like it's burning, just turn your stove down a little bit because you don't want it to burn, especially the garlic, because it'll become bitter, and that's not what we want. So these things can be quite unpredictable. So as you can see, actually the smells of just shallots and garlic is just the smell of the kitchen. It smells absolutely fantastic. So we're just going to sweat those off a little bit. And I've got Jake, my eldest son here, who's doing the filming for me. He's doing a great job with this. So, easy. So then we just wait a couple of minutes just for those to sweat down. I don't want any colour on them. I don't want them to burn. I don't want them brown. I want them to have a little bit of an al dente texture to them as well. But all I'm trying to do is just release the flavour of the shallots with the garlic with a little bit of butter. Very, very classical. Perfect. So we've got a few people watching now. So I've got my dad. So hello Dad, over in Derby. If anyone doesn't know, I'm originally from Derby. I've been in Cornwall 8 years now. And all my family are still up in Derby. I don't really get a chance to go up there very often, or never. That doesn't mean that we're not thinking about you at these horrible times. I've got my brother-in-law watching as well, Malcolm. Hello Malcolm. Ed, my sous chef, is watching as well. So right, sweating the onions down. Next bit, wine. Okay, about 100, 150, 175 ml of wine. Wine in. Get it bubbling. That's what you want it doing. You want it bubbling. This has got to be hot. Okay, for me to steam these mussels, this wine really needs to be going. The other way of doing this, what you're seeing now, we would do in bulk. So in the kitchen, in the restaurant, we would make 4 litres of this at a time. So I'm going to stand a little bit this side. So we would sweat our shallots off with garlic, with probably about 5 litres of wine, and just pour all the flavour into that, take it off and use it as a base. So when we get the mussels on, instead of having to do this, and when you're doing 300 to 400 covers, it's very, very difficult to do. So we would use a ladle of the mussel base, as we would call it, into a hot pan, mussels in, lid on, and actually we can get a portion of main mussels out in the restaurant in, I don't know, 5 minutes, and we would serve that with fries as well. So again, that's going nicely. Just going to add a little bit more wine. If I had too much wine, the wife will be going, well, you used all the decent wine again. That's ready. So, mussels. Mussels are about to go in. I need a lid, and you need a lid. Mussels in. Okay, you don't need to do anything now. Get that lid on. Perfect. Leave them. Okay? It's going to take about 3, maybe 4 minutes. What we're trying to do is get those mussels to steam and open up. As soon as they're open, they're ready. You know, we'll take them straight off, but it just gives me a chance to do my next stage of this. Excellent. And that's parsley, actually. So we're going to chop some parsley up. You can use flat leaf. I prefer flat leaf myself. So nice roughly chopped parsley. As we're going along. So we used to cook a lot of mussels as well when I lived in Spain. So if you don't know me that well, I've travelled a fair bit. I spent a couple of years in Spain as well, where I was known as the fire starter. So there's another little story there for you. So, and again, if you don't know me well, you won't know that I was called the fire starter. And basically the reason for that is my first day working in Spain. I went into a restaurant, showed them my qualifications, said, look, you know, I'm a chef from the UK, I can cook, do you have any jobs? Yeah, perfect. In you get, into the kitchen. So first morning into the kitchen, within, I would say in the first 20 minutes, I'd actually burnt the whole kitchen down. Wasn't my fault. The grill caught fire, sucked straight up into the extractor fan, and that was it, end of business. So I was actually known as the fire starter. Never stopped me from getting employment, but people made a point of saying, are you the guy that burnt that restaurant down? Well, actually I was. So, not called fire starter now. So nice roughly chopped parsley, all ready to go. I'll probably chop a little bit more just to garnish at the end. So if you can have a look at this now, I'm just going to do a little shake. Just have a look, and if you're following at home, this is how easy it is. You see those? They're open. So straight away, I'm going to turn that right down. I've got one open shell there. So as you can see, those mussels are exactly how I want them. So the next thing you need to do is just add your double cream. Okay, I've said about 100ml is what you're needing. Now leave the lid off. Now if you put the lid back on when you're steaming mussels, the cream can split, it can curdle. So we don't do that. So the next stage is cream in, good handful of parsley. Who else is watching? Oh, I've got the wife watching, taking the mickey. I won't read out what she's put there. So, okay, just giving those a little bit of a stir around. Okay, a little bit more heat. So I don't really want my liquor, the cream and the white wine to go thick. So I quite like it when it's nice and loose. So this is it. This is done. All we need to do now is plate this. So I've just turned that off. Just have a little wipe down. I've got my nice bowl that we use in the restaurant as well. So I've been over to the Heron doing not deliveries, groceries today to help our local community with Amanda, which is great because they can't get out and we live. There's no shop in our little village. Again, I'm just getting rid of some of these. So, nice bowl. All we're doing now, and if any of my chefs are watching will know, when we're doing this in the kitchen at work, I'm the worst one for making a mess with this, because I just tend to get it all over the place. Straight into a bowl. Now the mussels, some of the mussels might come out of the shells, you know, and that's okay. There's no problem with that. So pour lots of that lovely juice over. Let's get rid of that. But what I like to do is, if they're falling out, they're falling out. There's nothing you can do with that. So just get rid of the shells. The meat's in there anyway. But what a customer might think, they might go, well, I'm being short-changed because I've got empty shells. I can absolutely guarantee that the meat's in there. But just for presentation, I just like to get rid of them. So as you can see, you know, this is how easy it is to cook a moules marinière. A little bit of chopped parsley over the top. I'm going to put that on the bench and Jake can just show you what they look like. And the last thing we do with this, and if you've got a blowtorch, great. If you haven't, don't worry. So into a metal container. Welder's torch, if you've got one. Okay. And we just char it off. And it's just a garnish, because lemon's going to go well with this anyway. So we pop that just on that. Get a little bit more parsley going. And literally in 5 minutes, you've got the best moules marinière from a local supplier, 10 miles down the road, and a dinner that you can just feast on. So it's absolutely delicious, really easy to do. Take your time, have a go, have some fun with it. You know, it's not all about moules marinière. You know, we do this with Thai infused with coconut milk and lemongrass and garlic and ginger and lime. We can do it with rattler as well, which is a Cornish cider. We'll do that with leeks, pancetta, and apple. So you can actually really play around with this. It also, we can steam these open. I wrote a recipe for St Austell Brewery a few years ago where we was actually cooking the mussels in clouded yellow beer, which is a craft beer that St Austell brewed a few years ago. And the characteristics of that beer was coriander, and it was vanilla and clove. And actually those flavours work really well. So have a go, have a play. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll keep doing these tutorials. If you've got any questions, pop them on the page. We'll do our best to answer them. If there's anything that you want to see, I'm happy to do that as well. I think the next dish we're going to do is a recipe that I've got in a book as well, and it's our hake that's been on our menu for the last 12 months. We're about to take it off, but I want to show you how easy it is to cook with hake as well. So I'll put on the website all the ingredients you'll need, and thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay at home, protect the NHS, and just enjoy your time in the kitchen. So for now, from my kitchen in Truro, thank you very much. Take care.